want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question, albeit a little bit long. It says, I'm trying to find out what God says about election. I read Charles Spurgeon's sermon, quote, election, to see what a more mature and knowledgeable believer had to say on it. His sermon was strictly, quote, Bible-based. But a few things contradicted what I'd previously thought, with human free will being one of them. What do you think God says about election? And is Spurgeon's sermon biblically sound? Well, this is one of those debates that didn't start with Spurgeon. In fact, it began years and years and years ago. A lot of people think it started with the Protestant Reformation and Calvinists and the thought of Calvinism and all these different things. But to be honest with you, this debate regarding election actually began systematically with Augustine in the 4th century. But all that being said, let's deal with this sermon, let's deal with this subject, and let's deal with the biblical text. If we're going to be, quote, biblical about the concept of election, we have to begin in the book of Isaiah. In the book of Isaiah, it's the very first mention of the term elect or election. Isaiah chapter 42, verse 1 says that the Messiah is the elect of God. Why is that important? You cannot talk of election apart from the person of Jesus Christ. You can't do it. Nobody's going to argue with that one. Here's where it gets interesting. In Isaiah chapter 45, it says that Jacob, who was later named Israel, that corporate entity that would be the pathway of the Messiah, that Israel is the elect of God. Now, the reason that's important is Israel was not an individual. Israel was a corporate entity. Jacob was his individual name. Israel was his corporate name. See, when it comes to election, I think oftentimes, if you allow me to say it, we throw theological hand grenades at each other really for no reason. Everybody who's a believer in Jesus Christ and subscribes to biblical fidelity believes in election of some sort or type. The issue is which type. So there are those like Spurgeon. Spurgeon believed that election was of an individual matter, that individuals were elect from the foundation of the world to either be saved and or lost. I personally subscribe to what we call corporate election. Corporate election isn't that people were elect, but the plan of God was elect. It cannot be changed that Christ Jesus is the only means of salvation, always will be, and that we have the ability to believe on him and to be a part of God's plan or to reject him and not so. That being said, Spurgeon and Myers both believe in election. Spurgeon believed it to be individual. I believe it to be corporate. The question today is, where do you see the Bible lining up? Great question. If you have one, send it to AskJeff.net, and maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at AskJeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.